I just love how she reminds us now.
That's spooky.
So I'm super excited to have you guys on here this evening. We have Addie and Andi sharing tonight. I first wanted just to quickly talk about some like housekeeping things, some reminders. Just going back to the basics, because I don't want you guys to feel like your business is at a standstill or that things are moving super slow, and give yourself like a reason, like an excuse that this is just a slow season. Like, I don't feel like it's a slow season at all. I just feel like that we're in a phase, like a different type of season. And you guys know that we have those seasons. If you've been with me long enough, you know that the seasons come and they go. But if you let yourself say that this is slow because people are on vacation, people are doing this, then it's back to school, and then it's holidays, like you're always going to have a reason, and you just cannot let your mind go to that place. Like, you can't do that. So the best way to do this is just to put a positive spin on this. This is a great time to be connecting with people. People are going on vacation. It's a great time to talk to them about their vacation. It's a great time for engagement posts. Be posting about like your kids and where you're going and what you're doing and what books people are reading, and, you know, just talking to people. I don't know if you all have noticed like a shift in my post. Has anybody seen a shift in my post? Like, I'm being more confident. I'm showing up more boldly. Like yesterday, my post was like, this is real. I'm real. My business is real. I have a real 1099. I make real money. It is what it is. You know, you can take it or you can leave it. This is network marketing is not for everybody, but it's for anyone who wants to show up. And so like, I'm just like starting to put those thoughts like into post, and I'm really getting a lot of feedback. Like, people are really starting to engage with those posts. So just kind of think about those types of things. So being more confident in yourself as you're posting, as you're in your stories, you know, put your shoulders back, put a smile on your face, like show up as your better self. Like, you can do that too. Whether you've made $500, $50, it doesn't matter. You show up as that person that you want to be. So being confident, constantly I'm posting things in my stories about engagement and just asking for opinions. I'm also putting in my kids. I'm putting in Plexus. Like, I'm just putting it in there. I feel like when you start to do that, people, when they see you posting consistently and they see your true self, they can trust you more. And so when you do reach out to them, they know who you are. They know what you're about. They know like what your passion is with Plexus. They love that you've, you know, already shared that. So just keep that in mind too. And Andrea had asked me to share about the Reels on Instagram. So I have been doing the Reels on Instagram. If you're not an avid Instagram user, like, totally fine. You do what works for you. You don't have to change because of something that I'm doing. But I'm telling you, if you want to grow on Instagram, like, this is the way to do it. And I just scroll the reel page. Like, when you click on Instagram, I don't know if I can like show you on here or not. When you go to Instagram, that middle button is reels, and they'll start playing, and you can just scroll through them. And some of them are literally so simple that I can click on them, learn it in like 5 minutes, and post it. And some of my reels have gotten 18,000 views. The one was at 13,000. Some of them are at 800. It doesn't matter. I'm getting engagement. I'm getting new followers. And this gives me a chance to let people see like my personality. It kind of lets them see that I am a fun mom, that like I do have supplements, like I posted about the business and my journey and stuff like that. So just like do what works for you, but trying new things you have to give it time. So that's what I had to share. Hold on a second. Okay, in a minute. So I want you guys to just think about going back and making sure that you're consistently posting, that you're doing your reach outs, and that you are in your stories, just taking it back to the basics and doing those things every single day to show up, as like your better self. Be the person that you want to be down the road. So I'm going to go to Addie first, and I'm going to let Addie share a little bit about like her mindset shift. I think she kind of had as like a come to Jesus meeting maybe type thing with Andrea. And so I'm going to let her share that. Go ahead, Addie.
I'm a little nervous. I don't like talking in front of a bunch of people. But
people, these are your friends. You're good. Don't be nervous.
So I just want to kind of tell about like when I first started with Plexus, because I started in August of last year and came in the middle of momentum and had 2 people under me who went running with the business right out the gate. So between myself and 2 others, we just started oh, thank you, Joyce. We just started, real fast. And so from August to October, I hit senior gold. Like it was that quick. So then, see, I was new. And so I thought that I needed to like constantly be at the computer, constantly be working, constantly be doing everything. And my personality is I have to stay until I get it done. And I've had to learn that you can't do that. You have to have time for yourself. You have to reflect on yourself as well. But my husband started complaining, saying, you're always at the computer, you're always on your phone, you're always, and so I started like backing away from it a little bit. And then in January, my 2 strong runners quit. And a bunch of their people fell off, and it was a family member at that. So it was extremely hard for me. And then I got another leader in the end of January, and she hit the doors running, and 2 months later she fell off. And I went back and back and back. And the last couple of months I have not hit senior gold. It was really hard, and I just was like, I was done. And even though I watch all these, I attend all the meetings, I do all the things, and everybody talks about mindset, I was like, okay, they're just blowing smoke. Like it's not mindset. It's not like, my mind is fine. And then I had a meeting with Andrea. And she said, have you talked to your husband about why you're doing this? I said, no, I haven't. It was almost like a light bulb moment, because, my husband started coming to me saying, where's all the money? Because I wasn't reaching senior gold and the money wasn't as good as it had been. And I'm like, no, I haven't. She said, sit down and have that talk. And so I did, and it changed everything. I started investing in my business. I started doing classes, whether they were free or they, the Align group with Brooke Hemingway and Allie Reeves, 100 days of content, and the book club, and just diving in. And it has completely changed me. Now, I have not personally signed anybody, but I'm growing my team. And that makes me actually more happy. It makes me happy that they're succeeding. And so I think that's about all. I don't know. I just feel a lot better. I mean, total change. And
do you think that was because that you had that conversation with him? Like, how did that conversation like go? Because I'm sure these other girls are sitting here thinking like, oh shoot, I should probably sit down and have this conversation with my husband, right? Like they're probably thinking the same thing. So kind of just, you don't have to tell us every like gritty detail, but just kind of like tell us what you kind of like sat down and talked with him about.
Just basically told him my why, told him, that I want to be able to stay at home with this munchkin, and that I wanted to leave a legacy for him, and I wanted to be able to go on vacations and not have to worry, or go to the grocery store and not have to be like counting everything in my cart to make sure that that we have the money. I want to be able to do all those things. And I mean, he understands. Sometimes I still feel like sometimes, it's like, oh, another meeting, because now I'm like in it. Like I'm doing power hours 3 times a week with my sideline group, and I'm doing, everything, but I'm not letting anything stop me. Like, honestly, I'm gonna cry. Honestly, it's been so changing. And I think another thing is our church finally opened up, and I was able to go actually be at church every Sunday. And last Sunday, I swear it was like God was talking through my pastor to me. And it has completely changed everything in my life. So
Well, I love that. And thank you for sharing, because we have seen that shift in you, like as part of your, your leadership. I have seen that. And I think it is very important that you sit down and you have those meetings with your family. And we've had this talk all the time. It is important that your family knows why you're doing what you're doing. They have to understand that it may be paying for things, or it may be the reason that they're getting things, or whatever it may be. They have to know your why. And, when we were in Momentum Movement in Florida, Emily Gibson, she was like, my kids, it's a rule in my house. My kids are not allowed to say to me, you're on your phone too much and you work too much. She was like, it's a rule. They are not allowed to say those things to me. And she said, when they say those things to me, I'm like, why are you saying that to me? Like, this is my job. I don't leave for 8 hours. You don't have to go to daycare. You don't have to like go to after school programs. Like, you have an amazing life. I'm working right now. Like, do not say those things to me. And so she has set family time. Like, she has earned her way to the top with her and her husband's, accounts, but she doesn't work on Sundays. So she's earned that luxury now that she can take every Sunday off with her family, and she puts her phone on airplane mode. That's technically not a luxury that I've earned yet, but when you have those boundaries set and you're intentional with your time, instead of sitting down to work for 30 minutes and you end up scrolling for 30 minutes, and then your family's like, you were working, like, you just have to be intentional with your time and set those boundaries. So that, I think, is an amazing point, and something that we should all be very, aware of. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to switch it over to Andi. Andi is on Leslie's team, and she has been with us for a few months now, and she has started sharing, and has taken off. But in the beginning, we had a Zoom with her too. And we had to have that like mindset talk. So I'll kind of let her talk about that too. Take it away, girl.
Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be here. Just bear with me. I have all this allergy going on, so I sound horrible. But Andrea messaged me this morning, and I was like, oh my God, like, I felt so honored that my name would even come up, or that anyone would even like recognize me. So I'm just really excited to be here. But yeah, so I'll start kind of my backstory like Addie did. It was kind of similar. I started in November of last year, and I went silver by December. It was exciting, new, like I had already ranked, and then everyone quit, every single person. And I wasn't really prepared. I hadn't done the trainings and I hadn't done the Zoom call. So I was just like, well, okay. And I did nothing. I post every now and then, nothing consistent. And so in March, I added someone, and literally is in like my most consistent person, but that's it. Like from like November, from like December to March, I had one person, 5 points. And April rolled around, and I just got like in a really big funk. Like I didn't feel good. I had anxiety. I was getting depressed. I was just unhappy. I felt like I was kind of going through the motions, like with my job. I do accounting work. I was just going through the motions, life, work, clean, the next thing, the next thing. And I just got so depressed, and I stopped taking my supplements consistently. Like I never quit, but I just wasn't taking them like I should. So I was actually out of town on a trip, and I kept seeing like Bree's posts and Leslie's post. And I told my husband, I was like, I wish I could make 6 figures with Plexus, you know. And he's like, you're not a salesman, Andy. Like you can't. Like I had done a couple other things before, like, and I did fail at them because I'm not a salesperson. And that's why it's so good to know that I can still do this, even though I'm not a salesperson, because you don't have to be. So I messaged Bree and Leslie, and I was like, I'm in a funk. Help me. Like I don't give myself any grace. I'm really hard on myself. Like, help me do this, because I think I want to. And they were like super encouraging, and I just got it in gear. And in May, I re-ranked silver. I started reading my Bible and doing devotions and praying about it. Like, Lord, I want to do this. And I would love to not have to worry about my day job and all this. And I just kind of, June rolled around. I had 10 people. Like, I still don't know how I did that. I mean, so like I give God glory for that, because it's not me, it's just being able to share and be genuine. And, you don't have to be a salesperson, because I'm not. I started with doing a wellness event and consistently posting. And like my best advice to someone starting is just be genuine, be yourself. Like, you don't have to be pushy. I'm not pushy. You don't have to be salesy. Just care about people, reach out to people. I live in Logan County. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows, there's like no one here. And so like the small town excuse doesn't work. I just had to like get past that. It doesn't work. There are people, like, this is so awful. Like, I hadn't sent a friend request in years. Like, I don't send them. And if people send them to me, I'm like, what do they want to talk about? Like, why do they know me? Like, it's just so silly. But like yesterday, I sent like 12. I'm like, you can expand your network. You can do it. And I did a video on my story, and I will tell you, I redid it like 15 times, and I was like about to vomit. And I messaged Brie and Leslie, and I was like, is this terrible? Like, I'm going to take it down. Like, is it terrible? Like, please tell me. So, I just had to get over that fear of rejection. When I first started, one of my good friends said, Plexus is a joke, like before I even signed up. And I'm like, okay. And then, there's been people make little comments like, oh, don't talk to her. She'll just try to sign you up on Plexus and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, whatever. You know what? If it's going to help you, I'm going to try to sign you up on it. And I don't care. So just, I don't feel like I do anything special. I just do the things and reach out to people, and messaging people was my biggest fear. And that was one of the things I told Brie and Leslie. I said, I'm literally afraid to message people. And then Brianna was like, why? Who cares? Like, who cares if they think you're that girl? And the very first day that I put up a post, my welcome, like, shout out post, a girl liked it that I knew from college. And I messaged her, like, thanks for liking my post. Would you be interested? And she literally said, yes, but like, I can't stand when people that I haven't talked to since high school reach out and want me to buy things. My first time. So that's when I was like, okay, like, this is not me. I'm like kind of scared. And it took those months, and it took, several months. I wasn't ready back in November, December to grow. I wasn't ready. It took me doing all the things and having that conversation and being like, yeah, why do I care if they think I'm stupid or they think they're not paying my bills? They're not, So, I mean, June, I signed 10 with my preferred customers. I mean, I've only signed one person this month, but I did start to grow my team. And that's like what I'm really trying to do, is like find people to want to do this with me and all that. But it's been super fun and I love it. And I just have to try to keep the mindset. I had to get out of that mindset. And like Addie said, like, you think like my mind's okay. Like, I've never done any self-help, personal growth, but like once my attitude changed and my relationship with God changed, my relationship with my family and my day job I don't hate it as much because I changed my attitude, and then my business started to take off. So mindset, it was the key for me, just like Addie. It changed everything. So that's all I got.
Woohoo! Girl, take us to church.
Yes.
Like, you all just brought up so many good points that we talk about all the time, but it's just that being consistent, showing up, and just doing the things scared. Like Emily and Brooke have that hashtag, do it anyway. Just do it anyway. Like, what is going to happen? Somebody might tell you no. Somebody may call you that girl. Like, my real last night was, thinking about, what if I would have said no? What if I would have quit when people told me no? Like, what if I would have listened to the people's comments and things like that? Like, I definitely would not be where I am, So you kind of have to really think about that too. Everyone's journey is different. They're going to look different. They're going to be different. And that you have to be okay with. So, the personal growth and the mindset, that's whether you're listening to a podcast, get a good book to read, like, grow yourself somehow. And I feel like that's the most important part of this journey. If you're not growing yourself, if you're not doing any type of personal growth, or you're not investing in your business, like Addie said, then you're not taking your business seriously. You're just not. And you're treating it as a hobby, not a business. I joined this group today. It was $250, and it was something that I just really felt called to join and be a part of. And it really, just one training today just was like enough to light a new fire underneath of me, because I have been, I say, stuck with my reach outs and my messaging, because I felt like I was sending these cold messages, that I wasn't, connecting with people enough. And so I was letting it like affect my reach outs, like my IPA personally. And the first video I watched from her today was like, listen, you may have not talked to Sally since you were in high school, but you're still connected with Sally. You're friends on Facebook, you're friends on Instagram. She sees your pictures, you see her pictures. You're connected. That's not a cold message. A cold message is when I send Joyce a friend request, she accepts it, and I immediately go to her inbox and say, hey, Joyce, you want to buy my supplements? That's a cold message. So get it out of your head that you're sending cold messages, because you're not. Like, your friends on Facebook are your warm market, all of them, whether you talk to them since you've had their kids in class, or since you were in high school together, you're still connected. That's still your warm market. And that was like a aha moment I had today. And she said to keep your reach outs like under 20 words. Like, hey, Sally, like, hope you're doing well. You may have seen my post, you may have not, but have you ever learned anything about plexus? Have you ever learned anything about gut health? And just send it. Like, it doesn't have to be this long. You don't have to tell all your story. You don't have to like hope that they're having a good summer and check in on them and all this crap. She's like, get to the point. She was like, quit beating around the bush, quit trying to make all this connection in one message, and just send it. And it just like was just like, Like I feel so much better hearing her like say this. And on Instagram, she's the no shame in my sales game or something like that. I don't even know what it's called, but she's the one that does all of those posts on Instagram, and her community is amazing already. And I've been in there like 12 hours. So don't be afraid to spend money. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to listen to the podcast and put things into action, to read the books, to, do the things. So that's what I had for this evening. And I'm going to turn it over to Emily for one last thing before we hop off here. And she had a video from Emily Roberts. I don't know if you guys know who Emily Roberts is, but she is a diamond ambassador, and her husband is pushing for sapphire this month. But at one point, she fell into a deep, dark depression, and her entire team basically quit. And she like fell back a lot. And she spent, I think, quite a bit of time like in bed, not enjoying life, like all the things, like doubting everything that she had ever done in her business. And so I'm going to let Emily kind of talk about that.
Okay, so in this video, she talks about, and the valley looks different for everybody. And I feel like we all get to that point where we feel like our business is in a valley. And that could be that you signed 10 people right off the bat and then you didn't sign anybody for 2 months. It could be that you had a big business builder just like up and leave, up and quit. It could be that you haven't signed anybody personally or developed anybody personally. It looks different for everybody. But you have to decide in that moment. Like you have to decide, are you going to let those things define you and define your business? Because it's easy for us to cheer people on. It's easy for us to, when they hit silver, for us to cheer them on and congratulate their success. But whenever somebody on our team doesn't have that success, whenever they fail, it's very easy for us to take that on. We're not responsible for their success. We're not responsible for their failures. And I don't know where that shift is that, when they succeed, it's their success. And we just, have that, put it on there that, we don't have a part in that. That wasn't us, but they fail and it's because we were a bad leader. When they succeed, it's not because we're a good leader. It's we got lucky, or, they have a good network, or, they're a rock star, or they're doing the work, but we're not. And you just have to decide that, like, you're right. Their success is not solely because of you. You probably played a part in it. You gave them the tools that they needed to succeed, but that's not your success. But that's also not your failure. And you can't stay there. You get in these valleys and it's so easy to just be like, okay, I'm a bad leader. I'm not good at this. This is not meant for me. Like, I'm out. And you stop doing the things. And that can look different for everybody. That's, it could be your lifestyle choices. It could be you quit working out. You start watching, more Netflix instead of doing your IPA. You make bad food choices. You, instead of having one glass of wine on Friday night, you're having a glass of wine every evening because it's been a rough day. It looks different, but you are in control of that and you get to decide whether you're going to stay there. And if you're on this call and you don't know who Emily Roberts is, like, you're probably not in Plexus. Like, everybody knows who Emily Roberts is. And it was really eye-opening to see that people at that level of success, they fall back too. They get stuck in the valleys. And to see that she had hit diamond and within 3 months had dropped 1,800 points. Like, that's insane. And I know a lot of you are saying, I wish I had 1,800 points to lose. But to know that, she had that level of success, she dropped that much, and she came back from it. She rebuilt. She found new people. She developed new leaders. She has a reentry account. Her husband is going for Sapphire. Like, she didn't stay there. She didn't let their people leaving her team, people betraying her, going to different companies, whatever it was, she didn't let them leave. And yes, I saw that, Natasha. She talks a lot about somebody had sent her a message and said, your light's off. Because she wasn't showing up in her team page. She wasn't showing up on her own Facebook page. She wasn't doing the things. And it's really easy as a leader to think my team doesn't need me anymore. Like, I don't have anything else to offer them. You know, they do the things, they're doing their IPA, you know, why do they need me? And you have to realize, like, they still look to you. Just like your kids might know where the cereal is in the cabinet, but they still are probably going to ask, can I have some cereal? Like, you're still there. You still have a role, and you have to show up for that. Like, you created this team. You can't just up and leave it. Like, you have a responsibility to them, and they need you to have that excitement. And, you know, there probably is some mindset stuff. There's something holding you back, and you have to sit down and figure it out. What is it? Is it because somebody said something negative to me? Is it because I had a bad breakup in high school? Or, you know, that boy in high school said something to me? Or, you know, childhood trauma, or whatever it is. Like, figure it out. Go through the process. Figure out, you know, what is it that's going to hold you back? And take those baby steps to work through it. And work through it. And if you're sitting there and you're sitting in that valley and you're not doing anything, like, do something. You don't have to jump back in the deep end, full force, working Plexus 8 hours a day. It doesn't have to look like that, but you have to do something. You have to move. If you haven't been sending any messages at all, set a small goal. Say, I'm going to send 3 messages today. Say, I'm going to send 10 messages this week. Like, 10 messages in a week is nothing. You should be able to do that. Set those small goals and build on them. Don't stay where you're at. It's, you know, it's up to you. You get to decide whether you're going to stay in that valley, whether you're going to abandon people that are counting on you, or if you're going to come back from it and you're going to keep building and you're going to grow past it.
Woo! Somebody else just like feel more excited, like their fire has been relit, ignited, like, because I've really had to like do this myself lately. You know, you get in that funk and then you just want to like sit and waller in it, and you got the woe is me, the self-pity bull crap, you know, like, and you just sit in it, and you just got to figure out what it's going to take to get out of it. And sometimes that's just sitting down and going through your back office, or sitting down and sending a few messages, or making a post, or talking with your leader or a sideline sister, or whatever it may be. But if you feel that way, don't sit there alone. That's what we're here for. Like, we're here to do this together, and hand in hand, arm in arm, whatever you want to say. Like, this is meant for us to do, you know, together as a team, as a community. So don't stay stuck. Don't stay there. Bob Heilig did a really good podcast, I think last Friday, maybe, on quit saying you're stuck in your business. That was a good one to listen to. I only think it was like 30 minutes, but like, turn these podcasts on when you shower, or when you're doing laundry, or when you're doing dishes, or driving in the car. My kids get so mad. They're like, oh, this is terrible. I'm like, just sip it. Just like, find time to do these things. That way you are growing yourself and you're able to lead a team, because once you hit your leadership lid, your team hits it right there with you. And so you stop growing, they stop growing. So if you're continually growing, you're teaching them the things, you're guiding them, they're going to follow, right? Speed of the team is the speed of the leader. That's just how it is. Like, it is just known facts. Your team is doing what you're doing. So if you're only showing up half the time, your team's only going to show up half the time. So really take that into account. Like, you all are doing amazing in this season that you may be in. And I just want you to just go back to the basics, go back to posting consistently, help your team do that. Hold your team accountable. Like, hey, I know you had a busy day today at work, but I just thought I'd help you find a post for today. You know, like, here it is. If you have to go get it for them, go get it for them. Okay. Hand holding them is not a bad thing. They need help. They just started, right? Just like your toddler who just started walking. Help them send those little reach outs, you know, have them have a wellness event and help them invite, have them be in their story, send them a story, you know, ask them if they are ready to go live. Like, sometimes you gotta like push the little birdie out of the nest too, you know. But just go back to the basics. And like Emily said, find something that you can do, like that you can add back in, or that you can pick back up, or that you can like do a little bit more to keep, you know, keep growing and to keep developing the leaders around you. So we're reading that book and it's absolutely amazing. So if you're looking for a good book to read, John Maxwell, Developing the Leaders Around You, is an amazing book. It's really good. Find a simple one. GoPro, Go for No. Those are good. Just keeping good thoughts is a big deal. So thank you guys for getting on here. Thank you, Addie and Andy and Emily, for sharing. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that they would like to add to this evening? No? I can stay on for a second for questions, or if you guys have something to add. Felt like this was really good and I definitely needed this. So, you know, it's just like reading testimonies 4 years later, testimonies never get old, you know? So even at the place where I'm at with a team and a leader, like, hearing these things are still good. You know, they help keep my fire going and keep my passion, you know, and my why, you know, big, to help you guys and to see you succeed. And so, just like Addie said, when you guys succeed and you are, you know, showing up and doing the things, it makes a huge difference, you know, to see your team do that. Yes. Emily said, if you're feeling down, watch a diamond doc every single day. They're like 8 minutes. Go to the recognition page on Plexus and find a documentary for the diamonds and just watch them. They're amazing. And you get to see behind, you know, the scenes of their family and their journey, and they're very special. So, and there's one every week, usually in your email that you get weekly. So on Thursdays. So this was great. Thank you guys for hopping on and spending time with us and taking time away from your families to do this. And so, yes, very good. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.